Welcome everyone. Welcome. Welcome to interview series 3.0. Today we'll be dealing with difficult job interview questions. Please kindly confirm if you can hear me, and if you can see my screen, let me know if we are live. Just drop in the chat box. If you can hear me, if you can see my screen, kindly let me know. Drop your comment in the chat box and let us know we are live. Also, share this link to your friends, to your audience. Invite as many as possible to this webinar, because we are going to be exposing secrets and additional strategies that you can deploy to any difficult interview questions you might have to come across in your job search journey. So today we will be starting that series on difficult interview questions. This is part 1. Last time we handled dealing with the last time we dealt on how to communicate effectively in any interview communication, how to communicate effectively. Today we will be starting with difficult job interview questions. This is part 1. So we are live. Kindly invite your friends to be here, and also drop in our groups and let them know that yes, we are live. Let everyone know that we are live, that we are starting. And also feel free to drop in the chat box any question you have. Peradventure you have been in any interview, you have been in job interview, any interview, and those questions or that question was asked and you find it difficult to answer. You found it very, very difficult to answer. Feel free to drop the question in the chat box. I will be glad to attend to them. I will love to attend to those questions. If you have been in any interview and questions was asked and they were difficult, some was easy for you to understand, some you couldn't understand it, and you weren't able to answer it effectively to your own satisfaction, feel free, drop them in the chat box. Once again, my name is Franklin. I'm a recruitment consultant. I'm also a management consultant, also a tech consultant, basically project management, human resources management, and customer relationship in the area of management and consulting. Also a tech consultant who focuses majorly in data analysis and database management. So I will be your facilitator. I will be your anchor for this webinar this evening. And a little bit to say, I have been in interviews, I have employed, I have recruited, I have interviewed persons either for my company or for other establishments. As a consultant, I have participated in interviews, and I can tell you that yes, I'm not just talking from hearsay, I'm talking from experience. I'm going to be teaching not just from hearsay, I'm going to be teaching with life experience of over 7 years of practicing HR, over 7 years of practicing human resources management, over 7 years of being a consultant as per recruitment. So we will be starting a journey on how to effectively scale through job interviews. So today we are going to be focusing on difficult job interview questions. Go ahead and share the link to your friends. Go ahead, invite your friends, invite your loved ones. Let them be here today because we are going to be dishing out some insights. We are going to be dishing out some insights. If you are joining us, kindly drop in the chat box. Tell us where you are joining us from. Tell us where you are joining us from. Tell us where you are joining us from. If you are just joining, drop your chat in the box. Let me know if you can hear me, if I'm audible enough. If I'm audible enough, in the next few minutes, we will commence. The first question that we will be looking at today is describe yourself in 3 words. That's the first question we will be looking at today. Describe yourself in 3 words. And that in the bracket, tell us about yourself. Now, this question, describe yourself in 3 words, most recruiters, most employers are using it to replace this more traditional question of tell us about yourself. We have discovered that most persons, most job seekers, most applicants have already mastered how to maneuver, how to deal with these questions, how to answer it. Tell us about yourself. So everybody coming for an interview, we already prepare a way to answer this question. However, this also is relevant for us to understand how to deal with it. And that is why I put it in the bracket to tell us about yourself. Peradventure, you are in an interview, they ask you, tell us about yourself. I will also be explaining and showing us how we can deal with it. It's one of the difficult interview questions as well. However, in recent time, you might have been in an interview and you see or you heard the recruiters, the interviewers ask you to describe yourself in 3 words. That might caught you off guard, I'm telling you. That might caught you off guard to describe yourself in 3 words. That might caught you off guard. So how do you deal with this? First question. This is the first port of call. This is the first port of call. So I will love us to go ahead, invite your friends, share in the group, let them know we are live. We are live before we can ultimately proceed this section this evening. Go ahead, share it, share the link, invite your friends, let them know we are here. We are live, let them know we are live. All right. Now, before I proceed, let me say this. Job interviews is a case of not just who is the most qualified. One of the secrets to passing job interviews is not just being the most qualified. Now, let me say this, you might be the most qualified, but you might be the most qualified. I said that. You might be the most qualified, but doesn't get the job. You might have the best skills. Skill is very, very important, notwithstanding. Don't misunderstand me. Skills is very, very important. It's part and parcel of every job. Knowledge is very, very important. It's part and parcel of every job. Experience is very, very important. It's part and parcel of every job. However, you might have all these in your arsenals and still didn't get the job and still lose out on the job. Why? Because you are not the only person that have such. You are most likely not going to be the only person that have the required skills, that have the required knowledge, and that have the required experience. In fact, before you are invited for an interview, the company must have thought, must have believed that from the CV you forwarded, that you have what it takes to succeed in the job. So when you are invited for an interview, the thing you must know is that yes, you have already been approved as one who has what it takes to succeed on the job. So what you are going there to do is to prove them right that yes, you truly have what it takes. They will call you for an interview. They call you for an interview to come and prove, to come and show that yes, you truly have what it takes to succeed on that job. Please note that for you to be invited for an interview is an indication that the company deems you fit, that you have what it takes to succeed as regards to that job. So don't make mistake of thinking that you are the one that have the best skills, you are the one that have the most experience they need, you are the one that have the best knowledge they need. No, make no mistake about that. Everybody invited for that interview, the company believes that they can succeed, they have what it takes. So they call them for interview to prove that they truly have what it takes. So in as much as skill is very important, in as much as knowledge is very important, certificates are very important, experience very important, the most important aspect of them, of you passing job interview, is you mastering the act of effective acting. I stopped so that will sink. I repeat, is you mastering the act. The act here is A-R-T. The act of effective acting, A-C-T-I-N-G. Is the best actor that wins the job, is the best actor that gets the job, is the best actor that wins the interview at the end of the day. How do I mean by the best actor? Someone that shows, convinced the interviewer that he or she is the best. Not, you might not really be the best as regards to others, but you are the one that convinced them the most that you have what it takes. So in doing that, you have to first of all master the things you need to do before an interview. So before you go for any interview, one thing you must master is to be able to research. Every time I teach interviews, how to pass job interview, I always say this: research about the job, research about the company, research about the industry. Research about the job, research about the company, research about the industry. Every time I teach, I say this because these are very, very important things that will enable you to be effective in passing the job interview. Now, having said yourself with confidence, that is the next you need to master. How to carry yourself with confidence, how to carry yourself with ease, so as to carry this aura that shows, yes, I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me, kind of. In other words, as regards to this job, I truly have what it takes to be successful. You carry yourself with that aura, with that confidence, with that steeze that yes, this is what I'm good at. I'm very, very good at this. You see, sometimes when you believe somebody, is not really what the person says, it's how the person makes you to feel. The person makes you to feel that yes, he or she knows what he's saying. You are listening to me and you are believing because you are making you to feel that way. Of course, I I give you room, go research, find out what I'm teaching today, if they are still the same, if they match to what I'm teaching. Now, why is that necessary? Is because human being is an animal of emotion. So you make the interviewer, you make the recruiter feel. Most times the recruiters feels that you are the best is feeling, they feel that is their thinking, is their analysis, is their logic. No, it's the way you sat, the way you speak, the way you carry yourself, the way you maintain that eye contact, the body posture, and the answer that comes out from your mouth. You make them feel that this person is the best among the persons we have interviewed today. This is the first foundation I want to establish. I don't want to go deeper into that. If you are not in our previous sections, I will encourage you, go and take up time, 1 hour, 2 hours. Take up time, listen to the previous session, the interview series 1, interview series 2, how to communicate in job interviews. I dealt with these things effectively there. I did good justice to it. In fact, it's something that you will not want to miss. Those aspects is what gives life to these answers you are going to be giving, or to these answers you are going to learn today. If you don't know how to communicate your answers to the interviewers, you might be saying these things I'm going to be teaching today, but you are not saying it in a convincing way. So I will encourage you, if you are not in our last session, go ahead. Is there in our channel here. Go ahead, take your time, study it, listen to it attentively, and I will encourage, as you go to listen, take a biro and pen and jot out key points. Very, very important. And also, if you are just joining us, please share this link of this training to as many as persons that you know needs this knowledge. Encourage them to be here this evening. We are starting this series on difficult interview question. Like we saw on the flyer, this is part 1. All right, now having talked about researching about the company, having talked about being aware that yes, the company believe you have what it takes. Now you need to master some of these key questions. We call them key questions because they are difficult questions that interviewers put interviewees into, and one of them is describe yourself in 3 words. And anytime I teach job interviews, I say this: in answering job interview, it is expected that you discover why the interviewer is asking the question. If you know the why the question is being asked, then how to answer it becomes easier. So the first thing first is, from the question you need to do, why is this person asking me this question? Why do he or she want me to describe myself in 3 words? So now here are the most likely reasons. Most interviewers ask this question to describe yourself in 3 words. Now, number 1 is to know if you have done what we call self-assessment, self-appraisal, because you are most likely to be effective if you really know yourself. You are most likely to be effective on the job if you really know yourself. If you really know who you are, if you really know what you can do, if you really know yourself. So when we say describe yourself in 3 words, when we ask you this question, one thing we want to know, if you truly know yourself, if you have done self-assessment to the extent that you can say this is who I am in 3 words. If you have gotten to that level that you can comfortably say this is who I am in 3 words, then that sends us a message, yes, that you have really done self-appraisal. Now get this, we also know who has not really done this from the way you answer it. When you are asked this question, describe yourself in 3 words, and you begin to murmur, I can say that I am this, I'm also this, and that, and you say that and use 3 4 words, use 4 5 words rather to describe yourself, and then come back to say, well, if I'm to choose among these ones, I will say this. That is, you are showing us that you have not really done self-assessment, you have not really done self-appraisal. In other words, you didn't really know your self-worth, you didn't really know your capabilities, you didn't really know your capacity, and that is a wrong signal. That is already a negative impression that you would have sent to the interviewer. So when you are asked this question, you can respond back by saying, thank you, I love this, I like this question. I will say that to describe myself in 3 words, I will say that I am this and that. Now, later I will be telling you some areas you need to focus on when you are describing yourself. You are not just going to choose any words that comes. So number one reason why interviewers ask this question is to know if you have done self-assessment. Number two is to know whether your personality suits the job. Who you are, who you describe yourself to be, whether it suits the job you are applying for, whether it suits the company you are applying for, whether it suits the industry you want to work in. The first is to know if you have done your self-assessment, self-appraisal. Number two, to know whether your personality suits the job. Your personality suits the job. And number three is to summarize the aspect of tell us about yourself. The number three is to summarize this aspect of tell us about yourself. That's the third one. These are the major reasons why this question is asked. Describe yourself in 3 words whether you truly know yourself. Why? Because we know the persons that knows their worth, self-worth, their self-value, themselves, have confidence in their ability, they tend to perform effectively on their job. Then number two, whether your personality, what you call your personality, what you call your 3 most valuable personality, whether it suits the job, the company, and the industry. And then to see how you summarize yourself, your whole self, in 3 words. Okay, now having stated why this question is asked, you can agree with me that you can now be able to bring out 3 words you can use to describe yourself. However, I need to state this. You are not going to have 3 words that you are going to be using for all the jobs. As an individual, you have different personalities. If we begin to divide you into different groups, you will see that you have your personality that suits certain groups. So as an individual, you have diverse personalities. So you need to ensure that as the job, as the company, as the industry, before you go for that interview, you would have studied the job, studied the company, the industry, understands the personalities that suits those 3, and then use them as what you need to describe yourself. And let me state this. Let those personalities, that's why research is very important. Let those personalities you are saying reflect on your CV and in your cover letter. If you are required to send a cover letter, we will also, after interview questions and stuff, after this interview questions series, we are going to delve into the preparing job documents, CV writings, and what have you, if time permits us in this year. So get that. those three personalities you are going to state that's your personality. Please let those three personalities also reflect on your CV and your cover letter, so as not to be seen that your CV is saying another thing, you are saying another thing. It's either you are not the one that wrote the CV or you are lying to us. That's it. Either ways, either you are not the one that wrote the CV, or that you paid someone, or that AI does the writing, or that you are lying to us. So let what you are saying be in synergy, be in synchronization with your CV. So that's why you need to understand your CV. You need to master your CV. Not describing yourself in 3 words, or not telling us about yourself. The things you are saying are not in the CV. So having established that, having established what you are to do, and then the words to use, and also that the 3 words to use are not just once and for all. They are not words that you can use for all the job you are applying for. So what should you do? Now let me bring it down. What you need to do is this. When you are going for a job, prepare, let one of your personalities suit the job, let other personality suit the company culture, let the other personality suit the industry. Choose a personality that suits the job, a personality that suits the company culture, or company ethics, and then the personality that suits the industry. Now, having said this, what does that mean? That simply means that, for example, if you are going for an interview as a sales executive, as a marketer, for example, then you can choose a personality that you a go-getter. Now, a go-getter, what that personality being a go-getter is something that suits the job. As a marketer, as a sales executive, there are possibilities, in fact 99% possible, that you are going to be given targets. You are going to be given goals to achieve. So being a go-getter and explaining and showing when you have achieved some goals, what you did to achieve certain goals, those will be very, very effective for such position. Then suits the company. If the company has a culture of that, or in the job description they need vibrant leadership, this, you can say, you describe yourself in 3 words. You can say you a go-getter, you have strong leadership, go-getter, a strong leader, and then you can use excellent interpersonal or good strong interpersonal skills, or ability to go the extra mile. In fact, ability to go the extra mile can suit all jobs. This is one of the stuff I recommend for my audience. Anytime I teach my students, I give them this recommendation. The ability to go the extra mile. There is no job, there is no recruiter, there is no employer on planet Earth who doesn't want someone who can go the extra mile. So you describe yourself in 3 words: go-getter, strong leadership, and the ability to go the extra mile to achieve whatever I set my sight on to achieve. 3 words have described yourself: go-getter, leadership, strong leadership. I'm using that. There are certain places you might not use strong leadership. That is why you study the job, know what the interviewer wants, the company wants, understand the industry. Industry like journalism, journalism, describe yourself like in 3 words: a tech savvy, someone that is I'm a tech savvy if it's a tech related job. Journalism, you can use a personality like what's this personality I have forgotten it, a personality like inquisitiveness, being inquisitive. As a journalist, that personality is needed. And you are applying for an administrative position, office position, office assistant, PA, and that. Be meticulous, that you're a meticulous person. Those personalities that suits the job, the role you are applying for. Is very, very important that we understand this. Very, very important. Now, having talked about that, now what if you are now asked, tell us about yourself? Please, before I answer this question, kindly, if you have any interview question that you really want me to deal with today, feel free, drop it in the chat box. Drop that question in the chat box. Any job interview question you might want me to deal with today, drop it in the chat box. I will be glad to handle it. Thank you. I will be glad to handle it. This section, I prepared this section to be 1 hour. This is part 1, and then by next week we talk about part 2, and then BT we finish dealing with difficult interview questions. I'm taking my time in this webinar to explain it effectively, even to the extent that a layman will understand it. So do well to feel free and drop any job interview question you want me to deal with. Drop it in the chat box. I will be able to attend to them. Thank you. Now, tell us about yourself. If you are asked this question, tell us about yourself. Not describe yourself in 3 words. Now, what you need to understand in this is that you are not required. You are not required to begin to talk about your biography. My name is this, I'm from so this place. That's what it sounds to be like. It sounds like, oh yeah, tell us about yourself. Just tell us who you are, or introduce yourself to us, or who are you. You are not. It doesn't require you to begin to give us your biography. In fact, this is one of the stuff we call the elevator pitch. Elevator pitch. In other words, within a minute or two, say yourself to us. Anytime you are seeing this question, replace this tell us about yourself to say yourself to us. Think about it in that manner. And when you are selling a thing, you are to talk about the benefit, the functionalities, what the buyer will benefit, what the functions of that stuff will benefit the buyer. The same way, you are going to be telling the recruiter what he or she is going to benefit when he or she employs you. That's why they are there. We are not there to begin to listen to your biography. We don't need it. We are not there to listen to, I'm from so this place, I finished my primary school, this, and my secondary school, this, where I proceed to have my first degree in this. We don't need it. If we need it, we will ask you to send it in writing. So when we ask you, tell us about yourself, we are saying, say yourself to us. Why should we buy you? In fact, it's another way of asking you, convince us to employ you, convince us to give you the job. Tell us what you have got. Tell us what you have got. So in dealing with that, you can start by saying your name. My name is this. And then, from what you have found out about the company, from what you have researched about the industry, from what you have understood from the job description, then you frame your answer to suit those thoughts. Now, let's say the company is looking for a software developer. There is no need of, we are looking for a software developer who is good with who is good in React, JavaScript, and that, and you begin to say you finish from so this, did your this. They don't need it. We don't need it, please. So what you should do, because for us to invite you for that interview, we have studied your CV and see that yes, you can do the job. So when we ask you, tell us about yourself, well, you can begin by saying, my name is so this. I'm a professional software developer. I have been able to develop this software, and this software. I'm proficient in the use of this, and that. However, if you really want to see my work, lies there in my CV, or I already have some of my jobs that I have done with me for you to peruse and see how effective and efficient I am. Moreover, I'm not just only a software developer, I'm also into database management and data cleaning and data entry. Also, I'm a project manager who have been able to manage projects in the area of software development. Also, I'm a born leader, good communication skill, and excellent work ethics. If you really need one who will be effective and efficient on this job, I'm the one. That's how you can deal with that answer, or with that question rather. Tell us about yourself. You don't go about to say you studied this or you studied that. However, if you studied software development as a course, or you studied computer science or data science as a course, that's where you can bring it up. My name is so this. I'm a graduate of data science. I'm a graduate of data science. I'm a graduate of software engineering from the reputable university, or from one of the most reputable university in Nigeria, or in UK, in so place in this. Also develop software, carried out projects, and that. You tailor your answer to suit the company, the job, and the industry. But if your first degree or what you studied doesn't have anything to do with the job, then there's no need of saying that you're a graduate of. You can't come and say I'm a graduate of lab science, of science, or I'm a graduate of microbiology, or I'm a graduate of business administration. No. My name is this. I'm a professional software developer with over 5 years experience in software engineering, or with over 5 years experience in developing softwares. And however, these are softwares I have been able to develop. I have been able to work for this organization, or work as a freelancer for this company, and this with me are the samples of the works or the project I have done. Moreover, I'm also into database management, also a project manager. If you talk about some silent skills that can complement that work you are doing. If you are good in sales, you also say I'm also good salesperson, because there can be an element of need for you to be able to help in marketing or selling softwares, or in training. So different aspects. That is how you answer that question. Tell us about yourself. Bring your skills, your experience, your personality that suits the job, the company, and the industry. Bring it to the table. Bring it to the table. Don't just begin to read your biography. And please don't spend more than 90 seconds. I strongly recommend. Some persons might recommend 2 minutes, some might say don't spend more than 3 minutes. This period, time is very, very important. This era, time is very, very important. I recommend don't spend more than 90 seconds. Carve out your answer within 90 seconds. All right. Now, having dealt with this, the next question is this: why do you want to work for us? Why do you want to work for us? Why do you want to work for us? Another way this question can come is why do you want to work for us? Another way this question can come is, why do you need this job? Why do you need this job? That's another way. Why do you want to work for us? Why do you need this job? That's another way this question can come. Now, get this, there is a slight twist on it. Why do you need this job? You can focus on the job. Why do you want to work for us? You have to focus both on the job and on the company. And get this, every company is selfish. Every organization is selfish. In fact, we have to say this, every human being is selfish. How do I mean? There is an element of selfishness in every human being. Why you are here today is to the reason for you to be able to get knowledge. Why am I doing this? Is to be able to teach you so that you can be able to understand, at the same time help to encourage persons to be on my channel and help to grow the channel. That is the reason. There is always that aspect of give and take. There is always that aspect of mutual benefits. And when it's not on the mutual terms, that becomes parasitic. However, some persons, not just only on the mutual benefit, but some persons, most times, both mutual benefit and out of the passion they have for it. And that's why those that know me, if you have been able to see me in person, you will know that yes, even though I'm doing this based on mutual benefit, you will know that it's also out of passion. That is the passion to pass knowledge, the passion to teach, to enlighten, out of passion. So I'm not just teaching just for mutual benefit terms, it's also is something I'm passionate about. It's something I love to do. It's something I can do anytime, any day. You call me, I can teach anytime, any day. So it's in that regard that you need to base your answer to. Don't let the company see you that why you want to work for them because of what you are to benefit. Yes, what you are to benefit can come in, but don't bring it to the open. So why do you want to work for us shouldn't be because I believe this company is a very big company that it can help me to boost my career, or it can help me to grow my career. Or why I want to work for you guys is because I really need this job in order to make money, in order to earn and cater for my family, or in order to earn and settle bills. Or I want to work for you because it will give me the opportunity to learn. No. All these things you are saying is for you alone. The company want to see how they come in your reasoning, in your need, in the reason why you want to work. How do they come in? So when this question is asked, why do you want to work for us? Let it be because, one, the passion you have for the job, and that the company will provide you that platform to fulfill your childhood dream, your passion. Now let me show you where it helps the company. The company knows that if you have passion for the job And the reason why you want to work for them because you are passionate about the job. They know that you don't need too much motivation to go the extra mile. The company knows, we know that you don't need too much motivation to go the extra mile. So when you said that, why do you want to work for us? Well, as I want to work for this company, being that as a young child growing up, it has always been my passion, my dream, and my aspiration to do this, to do that, and to do that. And having studied about your company, I have seen that your company have what it takes to assist me in achieving that my goal, my passion, and my dream job. However, I have seen that your company has a culture for growth, a culture for challenging one to be the best they can be, and that's why I see that this company fits in to my personal, to my individual aspiration, and at the same time it fits to my kind of environment. You let them know you have studied them. What is their culture, their work ethic suits yours. It's an environment you will want to be, because it's an environment that promotes growth. It's an environment that stretches people to be the best they can be. And it's an environment that gives you the privilege, the opportunity to fulfill your childhood dreams. And because we know you are passionate about the job, it's something you love to do, and then you already have done some basic research about our company and know that yes, we are one that promotes growth, stretch people to go the extra mile, and it suits you, then we can work with you. Then we can work with you. That should be why you want to work for us. Not because it will give you the opportunity to learn. You are not there, you are not coming there to learn. Yes, we learn every day. Yes, we learn on every job. Yes, it's there. But let it not be the focus. Let it not be that you don't even know anything, you are just coming to learn. No, don't send that impression. It's a negative impression. Or don't send that impression you are just focusing on what to earn, what you are going to be paid. I need this job so that it can help me to settle my bills. I have certain responsibilities, so I want to work for you because so that to be able to settle my bills. In other words, once you settle your bills, the joy for working with us will no longer be there. So let it be something you love to do, and see us as a platform for your growth, and see our environment as that is ideal for you. That is the aspect of why do you want to work for us. Like I said, if you have any question, feel free to drop it in the chat box. I will be able to attend to them. Then the third one is this very, 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 very important, difficult question. Most seekers, most job seekers, most candidates have challenges dealing with this question. Even the experienced job seekers, even the ones that have been in interviews for long, that have attended different interviews, they still find this question difficult. What is your salary expectation? What is your salary expectation? Sometimes some organization might ask, what is your worth? Or some might ask, how much do you want us to pay you for this job? Or how much do you want to earn as salary for this job? Some might go to the extent of asking, what is the minimum amount you are willing to accept for this job? That anything less than that, you will not want to work. You will not want to accept this job. You are not willing to accept this job. Some might go to that length to ask such question. What is your salary expectation? Whenever those areas are being asked, know that they are all about money. And money is a critical component in human life. Money is a critical aspect in relationship. Let me say business relationship. Whenever you want to buy or sell, money is a critical factor. That's where negotiation comes in. The buyer negotiates, the seller negotiates. However, this question, the answer to this question differs from locations. What do I mean by locations? I mean differs by countries. What does that mean? If you are in a country where there are job opportunities, that the list of job you can do can be able to cater for your basic needs. There are countries that the least job you get will be able to cater for your basic needs. There are countries like that even if you don't have a job, the least one you get, maybe to be a cleaner, to wash plate or stuff like that, can cater for your basic needs, can cater for your rent, can cater for your transport, can cater for your feeding, can cater for your clothing. There are countries like that. If you are in such countries, then you have a bit of negotiating power in your salary dealings, in answering these salary questions. That's why I don't recommend persons using the format of another country to answer this question in their own locality. This question deals with, is a money question, so it deals with economy. It deals with economy. Now in economics, there is a basic law of economics, that's the law of demand and supply. In economics, that's the basic law of economics, the law of demand and supply. That the currency, your country currency loses value is all about the much they buy and the much they sell. It's all about demand and supply. That's the basic and the foundational principle of economics. Other ones are just building on top of it. The law of demand and supply. And what does law of demand and supply says? It says that the higher in demand leads to higher in price. The increase in demand leads to increase in price, whereas the increase in supply leads to decrease in price. In other words, when there are too much products in the market, that's why when competition comes, the price tends to go down. Because in Nigeria, as a case study, I remember years back when MTN used to be the only telecommunication or telecom provider in Nigeria. Their services are very high. The MTN line, some bought 50,000, 100,000, 20-something thousand, as the case may be. And that time they were charging per minute. If you make a call and it entered a minute and 2 seconds, a minute and 1 second, they will charge you 2 minutes. Because there is no much supply. They are the only one supplying in telecommunication then in Nigeria. Then comes competition. Another company begins to supply. Etisalat comes in, Globacom comes in, Vodacom and all the rest comes in, and competition sets in. Today, it is no longer the issue as before. The prices of all those, the cost, the charges of all those services have gone down, while there is an increase in supply. And that brings down the charges, the prices to which customers pay. So in job search, in job recruitment, that also plays a role. That also plays a very important role in job recruitment. And what role does it play? It plays a role in the location to how much the employers are willing to pay. When the employer sees that there are many persons that needs that job, the amount to pay, the job seekers will have little or no say as regards to the salary. So don't use where someone will tell you go and negotiate your salary. No, as a fresh job seeker, if you are in an economy where there is limited job vacancies, and because of that, a lot of persons can accept that job for a pay that is lesser, then you see you have little or no say over the salary decisions. But if you are in an economy where persons can negotiate their salary, because if they don't get it, there are other jobs they can have on the immediate and use to sustain themselves until they get that one that suits their stores, you can negotiate. However, even in any economy, you don't say a specific amount. In any economy, don't state a specific amount. Put it in range. And that's why you ought to have found out how much is that job. How much does that job worth within that industry? How much does that job worth within that industry? So when you study it and you find out that, okay, this job, it worth so this within the industry, the average company in this industry is paying, let's say, 100,000. The average person company in this industry is paying, let's say, 70,000, for example. And then you go for that interview and they ask you, what is your salary expectation? Now, what you do is you don't first of all say a certain amount. What you do first is to say, well, I strongly believe that this organization, being highly reputable and a standard organization, I believe there is already a salary structure for this position. I will be glad to go by the organizational salary structure. Now, when you say that, there is 90%, 95% probability that they will not accept. When you say, well, I believe this organization being standard and organized and reputable organization, that there is already a salary structure for this position, I will be glad to go by the organizational salary structure for this position. There is high probability that they will not budge. They will not accept. There is a high probability on that. They will not budge, they will not accept. Now, the next thing they will do is that, well, they might say, okay, we have the salary structure for this job, but we want you to tell us how much you want us to pay you. How much are you looking at for this position? What is that amount you are willing to accept? In other words, how much that if we are not going to pay you, you will not accept the job. So once that is done, you will now bring your research into play. Once they insist, yes, we have our salary structure, but we want you to let us know, we want you to tell us how much we want you want us to pay you. We want you to tell us rather how much you want us to pay you. Now, once it gets to this stage, the next thing to do is to put it in range. And let's say, for example, from your research, you found out that the average pay for that position in that industry is 100,000, for example. Now you put it in range. Well, if you insist that I say a figure, I will say anything within the range of 80 to 120 will be a good start. However, I strongly believe that my result will effectively speak for me, and knowing that this company is one that recognizes a result and promises growth, my result will speak for me. That is how you can deal with it. Well, if you insist I say a range, I will say anything from the range of 80 to 120 will be a good start, knowing fully well that your company, being a reputable organization, recognizes hard work, recognizes positive results, and encourages career growth. My result and my input will speak for me. I'm so much passionate about the job, and I'm so much passionate about being part of your team, that you answer it this way. However, when you do that, the next thing that will come is this. Okay, all right, thank you. What if we are not, what if we can't pay you 80,000? What if we can't pay you 80,000? That's, you said within the range of 80 to 120. And now the person is asking, what if we can't pay you 80,000? Anything less than 80,000, won't you accept the job? Now, get this, ladies and gentlemen. This answer doesn't require yes, it doesn't require no. Don't say yes that you will not accept. Don't say no. Don't say yes, you will accept. Don't say no, you won't accept. It's not where you say, well, I will accept or I will not accept. Okay, if it's less, I will accept. What is, no, 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 no. Don't say that. Please. You are telling us that you are one that is not, that you are one that is doesn't say a thing and keeps to it. You are not, you are the one that doesn't really know himself. So just don't say, well, I will accept. And at the same time, don't say, no, I won't accept. Don't say no, you won't accept. In fact, one of the things I recommend is that you don't say anything negative in any interview. Don't bring any negative vibes in any interview. Note that. Don't bring any negative vibes in any interview. In other words, your facial expression towards any question, in other words, the way you walk in other words, the way you answer your questions, the way you present yourself is very, very important. So don't say anything negative. And saying no that you will not accept is a negative response. So don't do that lane. And saying yes that you will accept means that your mind is not how will I put it, your mind is not stable. Your mind is not stable. And the scripture says, he that his mind is unstable as water, let him not think he or she will receive anything from the Lord. So in other words, when you say yes, you are not one that is stable. And company wants one who knows their onion. So how do you now deal with it? When you now say anything within the range of 80 to 120 will be a good start, and we now ask you this question, what if we can pay you 80,000? Or what if anything less than 80, won't you accept the job? Now, you don't say yes, you don't say no. That is where you refer back to your previous statement, the first statement you made. Now, when that question is asked, you say, well, that's why I said initially I will be glad to go by the organizational salary structure. If it's less than 80, that will be fine by me. If it's more than 80 as well, that will also be fine by me. Answer, please, if I may ask, what is the salary structure for this position? You now turn the table. Why this is important is that you don't stop there. You don't stop there by saying that is why I want to, that is why I already said I will love to go by the organizational salary structure. No. After you have said that, well, that's why I initially said I will love to, or I will be glad to go by the organizational salary structure. If it's less than that, fine. If it's greater than that, all good and fine. Please, sir, if I may ask, what is the salary structure for this position? And this is how you can effectively kill off this question. Now, most times 95% will not tell you the salary structure. But difficult recruiters, strong recruiters, tough recruiters will go ahead to tell you to just quote a ridiculous amount. Let's say you said 80. The person might say, well, we budgeted 45,000 to pay for this position. Will that be okay by you? Ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you this. Don't reject it. Say, well, like I said, I'm a man of my words. If that is the structure, if that is the organizational salary structure for this position, like I said, I will love to go by the organizational salary structure. If that is the structure, that will be good and fine by me. My focus is for the organization to see my input, my result, my input and my drive will speak for me. That is that. However, no law says that when you accept it, they will force you to get it. When they offer you the job and you see the job packages, you see what is in the job package, you have the right to reject it. You can reject it. So not saying that you can't accept it is not, you just accept it. Like you said, you will love to go by the organization salary structure. And they are saying that their salary structure, what they have budgeted, what they have structured for this job is 45,000. And you are saying 80 to 120. Just play along, be cool. Say, well, if that is the structure of the company, you will go by it. And when you receive the offer, finally, check it if you can't. You let them know, well, you have having considered so factors and so factors, this will not really be okay by you. So that is how you deal with this question. Now, the next question is, what is your greatest strength and weakness? And this is where I want this session to be a 1 hour section. And we started since 4 o'clock. And now this is already after 5. At this point, I will throw the floor open for any question. If you have any question, drop it in the chat box. Drop it in the chat box. If not, I'm in the chat box now. I'm in the chat box. Drop your question in the chat box. I will attend to it. Now, this is where we will start from part 2 of this series. Next week, Thursday, we are going to be starting with this question: what is your greatest strength and weakness? This is one of the difficult interview questions and interview questions in job interview as well. How to deal with it effectively. I'm going to be handling it and others next week. So if you have any question, go ahead, drop it in the chat box. I'm waiting for us. If you have any question, drop it in the chat box. Thank you for being with me in this webinar. Like I said, my name is Franklin. I'm the lead consultant, Soluma Consulting, and your host and your anchor for this webinar. I will love that if you love what we are doing, if you like what we are doing, I will want to ask that you subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and also share this webinar link to your friends. Even after we end this live stream, share it to your friends. Encourage us so as to reach to many persons. It's my passion, it's my dream, it's my goal to help as many job seekers as possible to pass their interview in one sitting. That is why I put up this series every Thursday to help fresh graduates, job seekers, to pass their interview at first sitting. Having interviewed people, having sat in job interviews, I've been able to discover interviewees' weakness, candidate weaknesses, area that they make mistakes simply because they lack knowledge, simply because they lack understanding, simply because maybe they don't have someone to enlighten them before coming for that interview. And that is what prompted my decision to organize this series from this moment till the end of this year, to help job seekers to able to pass their interview in one sitting. Also, we have a community, WhatsApp community, where I drop job opportunities virtually every day, where I drop job opportunities virtually every day. If you want to be part of that community, feel free to drop your number in the chat box. I will get it from there and add you up in that WhatsApp community, where you can be getting job alerts, scholarships alert, opportunities, different opportunities, and the likes. Please, before we wrap it up, I will love to ask that you take this webinar, go and copy the link, share it with the audience. This is just one thing I'm requesting from you today to help to encourage. And if you are not a subscriber, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, press the notification bell, so as whenever we go live, you will be notified, or whenever we upload content on this channel, you also will be notified. Very soon we will also start a series on technological courses like data analysis, courses like that. So if you are a subscriber, if you are part of this community, we are building a community where people can be enlightened, both tech-wise and also to be able to pass interviews. So if you are part of this community, always watch out for this channel. Sometimes we organize webinars like this, either in tech, either in management courses and stuff like that. So I want to appreciate you for being with me. Thank you. Remain blessed. See you next week, Thursday, on the same topic, dealing with difficult job interview question, and that will be part 2. Thank you. See you next week.